He brought his girlfriend too. Every man who vacations in Southeast Asia or the Philippines and is searching for a partner there knows this phrase. And especially Asian women are stigmatized as mail-order brides, which carries the prejudice that in Southeast Asia you only get the so-called girlfriend experience instead of a real relationship. But what, please, is this so-called girlfriend experience, and how does it differ from a true, real boyfriend-girlfriend relationship? Hey there, I'm Götz, nearly 60 years old, and I've been living here in the Philippines for over 10 years now. But before I bore you with my personal relationship details, I'll just ask Wikipedia, what is the girlfriend experience? So Wikipedia gives me this. A girlfriend experience, GFE, is a commercial sex service that blurs the boundaries between a financial transaction and a romantic relationship. It ranges from a transactional sex relationship to a client paying a sex worker to pretend to be his girlfriend during the session. And now I'm pondering, because we're talking about a transaction, the exchange of nothing but money for sex. But that's exactly the definition of prostitution. So is girlfriend experience just a more politically correct way of describing prostitution? A little side note. In the Asian region, we often deal with two widespread clichés. The stereotype of the older man with a young Asian woman and the stereotype of the mail-order bride. For your information, the English term sugar daddy first became popular in the 1920s, particularly through the case of Adolf Spreckels, an American businessman whom his significantly younger wife Alma referred to as sugar daddy. 1920. So it's not a modern invention. And mail-order bride? I have to disappoint you here as well. The term mail-order bride originated in the United States during the gold rush in the 1800s. Men often used advertisements in newspapers or special catalogs to find women interested in moving to the West and getting married. So let's mix this with evolutionary biological aspects. A man wants offspring, and for that he looks for a partner capable of having and raising healthy offspring. A 20-year-old woman is more likely to guide 2 or 3 children to adulthood than, let's say, a 40-year-old woman. A woman wants offspring too, and also she wants a family. But she seeks security for her family because the offspring need to survive. And there, the older, financially secure man is in a better, let's say, negotiating position. So purely from an evolutionary biological standpoint, both parties have plenty of what the other needs. Our modern world now burdens the wealthy West with aging and Southeast Asia with an oversupply of young women, especially in the Philippines. Old men seeking a woman as young as possible through online dating. That's the modern form of a, let's say, centuries-old tradition. And since prostitution is often referred to as the world's oldest profession, I can also argue from a business perspective that Southeast Asia is a buyer's market. An economic state where the supply of goods or services exceeds the demand. But back to the topic of the video. What does all this have to do with getting only a girlfriend experience in Southeast Asia and not a real love relationship? A very important aspect of this topic, which must be addressed at the beginning of the video, is the emotional side. The man usually has clear intentions, so let's take a look at the woman. In the most common form of the girlfriend experience, the woman's emotions don't really exist in a meaningful way. She leaves her feelings at the door every time she leaves her client. There's the one-time encounter. I'm not talking about prostitution here, but rather the gray area, also known as a one-night stand. In this situation, the woman might only pretend to have a bond with the man who is using her services. She goes out with him, he pays for drinks, dinner, the hotel. And this shows that the typical Western one-night stand is also nothing more than a girlfriend experience. Then there's often the sugar daddy, the man who provides financial support, perhaps for rent and for groceries, clothing, etc., in exchange for a relationship that resembles a typical boyfriend-girlfriend situation, even though the two parties often don't live together and may only see each other occasionally. This then reminds us again of an online long-distance relationship, doesn't it? It's often the case that the man comes for a few weeks or a year to have a girlfriend experience. Or take the modern friends with benefits, having a girlfriend who craves both companionship and physical pleasure, but with all the commitments and responsibilities of a real relationship. On the part of the older man, often he is already married or has been disappointed by a traditional relationship, and sometimes an older man has simply decided that it's better to rent than to buy, so to speak. But isn't this also what many tourists are looking for here on vacation? A nice woman for a few weeks with favors? What about the situation where a younger woman in the Philippines already has a boyfriend or even a husband, and this additional friendship with an older man could be the perfect solution for her and her partner? And as incredible as it sounds, most Asian husbands are aware of their wife's activities with a foreign sponsor. She often doesn't cheat on her boyfriend or husband without his consent, and also that the older sponsor knows about it and is okay with it. And then there are also many younger, inexperienced bar girls who are actually looking for emotional attachment and dream of finding their prince while being paid to kiss all the frogs. For a young girl, this girlfriend experience can be quite a desirable situation, as while earning her living, she hopes that over time she will actually be able to fall in love with someone who loves her back. Unfortunately, however, many bar girls or tour guides realize after some time that this beautiful life is in reality cold and inhuman. But for many it may already be too late. They have succumbed to the material aspect of this beautiful life and cannot break out of this vicious circle. But back to the topic of the video. What differentiates the girlfriend experience from a real, genuine love relationship? And so, back to you men who come to Asia to find a girlfriend, a wife. The question still hangs in the air. You develop feelings for your girlfriend and she seems to reciprocate. But how much of it is genuine affection and how much of it is role-playing? In traditional relationships, men often take the role of the provider, which means more than just financial stability. For example, a man would protectively stand in front of his partner in a risky situation, like in a bar. On the other hand, women traditionally devote themselves more to household and family. They also fulfill sexual needs, which we men tend to see as a more important part of life. This doesn't mean that women don't enjoy it, but we men just prioritize differently, right? And considering my previous statements, I can already imagine some feminists foaming at the mouth demanding the deletion of my YouTube channel. Because my statements could be interpreted as claiming that women are mainly there to have children and do household chores while relying on the protection of a man. Nothing could be further from the truth. All I'm saying is that this has been the evolutionarily predetermined role distribution since time immemorial. I'm not saying it's right or wrong in our modern world. I'm just stating how it is, and anyone who denies the aspect of human social evolution can't argue objectively. They are mainly lying to themselves. So let's quickly move on to the positive aspects of my videos, because thankfully there are a very large number of happy relationships between younger women and older men in the Philippines. Every relationship matures over time, and no matter what different levels of commitment for each other were there at the beginning. If you look around, you'll see that there are many genuine relationships here, and that the phrase "did you just buy yours too" is nothing more than a demeaning insult. Anyone who makes such a remark is just an immature person who unfortunately hasn't learned manners. But is it always that simple to dismiss the phrase as an insult and go back to everyday life? What about the gray area? At what point does a girlfriend experience turn into prostitution? Clearly, when cash changes hands for a quick physical encounter in a back alley of a bar, that's definite. But what about the one-night stand? If it's a fleeting encounter, both find each other nice at the moment, but the man pays for the meal, pays for the taxi, pays for the hotel. Instead of enjoying a good meal and drinks at his expense, she could have just said thanks and goodbye, right? What about the many long-distance relationships where usually the man provides regular financial support to a woman? How can one be sure that the expressed feelings are authentic? That the girlfriend experience lived during a few vacation weeks is genuine? The answer that always comes, especially in long-distance relationships from both sides, is "I just feel that it's real." And there lies the key to the answer, what you get in Southeast Asian countries. girlfriend experience or real love relationship. Because just like in any friendship that over time turns into a relationship, the answer to the question, is it just a girlfriend experience or more, is simply time will tell. Now I can hardly wait for the comment section to explode, and I hope you'll leave me not just only a like but maybe also a small tip. Address is in the video description. More videos about the Philippines are coming regularly here, so don't forget to subscribe. And until next time, I again say bye bye from Cebu.